The Tour of Flanders, or the Ronde van Vlaanderen, is seen as the pinnacle of one-day races for many cycling fans, with the mythical cobbled climbs steeped in history and the second monument of the season. This is definitely one not to miss. This year will be an interesting edition as always. With many of the juggernauts coming, there will be a very star-studded field, to say the least. But anyways, with that out of the way, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel here on the Cycling Day Extra if you haven't already, and let's get into it. First on our list is not a rider, but a team, and that is Team Visma Lease Bike, as it's unclear who will be the leader for the Tour of Flanders, as in E3, Wout van Aert was not the strongest rider for the team, but rather Mathieu, so perhaps the Belgian star might find himself in a supporting role once more after an underwhelming start to the season. We had seen the warning signs in Klassiker Cayenne, where he looked like to be the leader, but very quickly switched to the supportive role, and he elected not to go to Gent-Wevelgem either. So there is perhaps a bit of panic for Wout van Aert fans this year, as he's still trying to get the Tour of Flanders or Paris wins. On the other hand, Mathieu, who did finish inside the top 10 in E3, looked strong again, and he did steal another Paris-Nice title, so he could maybe be the rider that they rally behind, and he was the man who was able to match Mathieu van der Poel for a few seconds on the Koppenberg, but it didn't last very long. Next on the list is last year's supposed runner-up, who ended up getting relegated, and that was Michael Matthews, and we might as well hear his version of events from the interview we did earlier this year. What's well, Tour of Flanders, how was that for you last year? Sorry.
Wet, cold, and then I mean, I'm personally very happy with my performance I did, let's be honest. I thought it was very good. I have no, I wouldn't change anything that I did. I can't tell the commissaires what it's, I can give them my side of the story, but I didn't even get to do that. So I got to the podium and was getting changed to go on the podium, and actually a photographer came and said to me I was disqualified, which I totally don't agree on. No one even came to me and asked from my side of the story. But yeah, going back, I mean, my performance in that race I was super happy with. I mean, I had to walk up the Koppenberg until I could actually find some traction, and I lost a lot of time there, but the way I came back through and continued fighting, I was very impressed with myself there to never give up. And yeah, in the final there, from 1k to go to the finish, it wasn't a sprint. There was guys everywhere, there was groups everywhere, and I rode across like 3 different groups to get to able to sprint for second place. And I mean, I was trying to get to the finish line as fast as I could. I wasn't trying to jeopardize anyone else's sprint, put anyone else in the barrier. I mean, if you ask the guys around me, they also agree that I shouldn't have been disqualified. But yeah, in the end, we're here now and get another shot this year. So
despite Mike Matthews not making the podium, he has had some good results in the race in the past, with a 6th place in 2019 and 11th place in 2022. So if it rolls his way again, potentially he could be in the mix for a podium or the win. But nevertheless, third on the list is our obligatory Danish pick, as we always say, and this time once again it is Mads Pedersen. So far in 2025, Mads Pedersen has showed great form, first winning the Tour de la Province, where he outsprinted Matej Morhage on the Queen stage. Then in Paris-Nice he climbed better than we've ever seen him climb, not winning in the sprints but winning on stage 6, sealing the points classification. And in his first big target of the year, Milan-San Remo, he wasn't able to get in the winning move and had to settle with a 7th place, missing out on the win. In the Cobble Classics, he was very strong at E3, where he wasn't able to hold on to Mathieu van der Poel, but he did manage to seal 2nd place in the race and continued a few days later in Gent-Wevelgem, where he was very dominant in the race, winning by quite a margin and taking his 3rd title, joining the all-time winning record, and Jonathan Milan, his teammate, was on the podium. The win in Gent-Wevelgem also meant that Mads Pedersen is only 1 win away from equaling the all-time Danish win record held by Rolf Sørensen, and let's hope that this time at Tour of Flanders he won't suffer as severe of a crash. Last year in the Tour of Flanders was not ideal by Mads Pedersen, as as he was playing a catch-up in terms of recovery from the crash in Tour, and thus the Tour of Flanders became more of a recovery or a test ride for him, and he did do a silly early attack and worked very hard out towards the front, and he was covered by one of the Alpecin riders, and in his own words, he was riding a bit blind. His record in Flanders is impressive, as he has finished on the podium twice, once in 2018 where he was a breakaway rider but was ultimately surpassed by Niki Terpstra, and in 2023 where he finished on the podium winning the sprint. Little Trek are a phenomenally strong team when it comes to the classics, as we saw with Jonathan Milan even being up there and get well again. So if they can make sure to rally around Mads Pedersen, who knows, maybe he will be able to climb once again up on the podium, or if things go right, get his first ever monument win. Before we get into the number 1 and number 2 picks, some other names to mention. There will be no Filippo Ganna in this race. Unfortunately, he is skipping the race. So Ineos Grenadiers will have to look elsewhere for their top card. Kasper Pedersen looked very good in E3 for Soudal Quickstep. Likewise, we could see the likes of Matteo Trentin or Matej Morahic up there. And of course, I will be mentioning Biniam Girmay finishing 7th place in Gent-Wevelgem. So we'll see if he's able to get his best performance in the race, but it might be a bit too brutal of a race for him. Equally, Oriol Loscano and Lawrence Pithy will look to do something, and the former champion Alberto Bettiol, riding for his new team of Astana, would definitely love to get a big result for them. And we can never write off Alexander Kristoff, who finished 4th in Gent-Wevelgem, the former champion himself. But speaking of champions, coming in at number 2, it is the world champion Tadej Pogacar, who is yet to feature on the cobblestone races this year, as he skipped both E3 and Gent-Wevelgem. Nevertheless, the superstar will look to bounce back from his Milano-San Remo disappointment. In 2025, Pogacar has already looked invincible, winning the UAE Tour in a comfortable fashion with a win on the Jabal Hais and Jabal Hafid. And then at Strade Bianche, he crashed dramatically in the leading group, but regathered himself, chasing after Tom Pidcock and dropping the Yorkshireman to solo to the win and clinches back-to-back win. At Milan-San Remo, he was once again an animator and did something unprecedented, attacking on the suppressor, and only Mathieu van der Poel was able to truly match him all the way. But Pogacar ended up on the lowest step of the podium as Filippo Ganna managed to get back and out-sprinted him in the sprint. Tadej Pogacar is phenomenally strong, as we know, and very versatile. Even when it comes to the cobbles, there's almost nothing you can do to drop this man. He has been at the Tour of Flanders twice. In 2022, he was very strong on the climbs and looked to put Mathieu van der Poel in a lot of trouble, and in the sprint he was boxed in and ultimately had to settle for 4th place. The Slovenian came back the year after and managed to punish the Dutchman and ride away from him on the climbs, and took his first ever cobbled monument, and really just showcasing how strong he is, and he also became the first Slovenian to do so. Last year, in his absence, 3 of his teammates finished inside the top 10, and this really indicates how strong his team support is as well, and maybe Nils Pollard or Antonio Morgado could sneak into the top 10 as well. Pogacar will be very strong himself, and the strong team around him should really put a firm challenge to all of the riders in this race, and he will be eager to use this as well for his preparation and debut of Paris-Roubaix. So everything to look forward to. First on the list is Mr. King of the Cobble Classics, the Flying Dutchman, who is literally flying at the moment and is the defending champion. And that is, of course, Mathieu van der Poel, who has been imperious so far in the season. Mathieu van der Poel extended his impressive 2025 one-day record in E3, where he was the strongest, dropping everyone with 38 kilometers to go to secure his 2nd title in a row in the race, and thereby has also got a 100% winning record this year so far in the one-day races, as he won La Samen in a sprint and Milan-San Remo. He played it very defensively, but pounced at the right moments to clinch his 2nd title there. Mathieu van der Poel possesses all the attributes to win this race once more. He can win from a small group sprint. He can also just ride away like he did last year, but he really has all the ingredients to become a 4-time Tour of Flanders champion. His record so far in Ronde is stuff of legends, with his first appearance in 2019 being his only finish outside the podium, but we should add in he had a very awkward crash and still managed to ride back to get 4th. The following year, he had a legendary battle with Wout before winning the sprint, and in 2021, once more it was the duel for the finishing line, but this time it was the Dane Kasper Asgreen who won. And in 2022, the Dutchman got his revenge, winning from a small group, and in 2023, as we know, he was put to the sword by Pogacar. But in the 2024 edition, he was the strongest by far, simply riding away from everyone, winning his third edition of the race as well. Mathieu van der Poel certainly is the big favorite of the race, and there is not many riders who can even match his kicks on the climb, so it will be a big showdown between himself and Tadej Pogacar for another win. So this should be an absolutely cracker of the race, and let's hope no fans spits on him again like they did in E3. But anyways, with that, that's basically it for this video. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let me know down below what you think of the race, and look forward to our preview show as well, coming very soon. But for now, as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you around.